Judges, let me see what you thought of that particular poem-shaped object. We've got two slow judges this time. They're the Russian judges over here. They don't really know what's going on. From low to high, for chair, we've got a 6.9. 69. We've got a 7.0, a 7.7, an 8.2, and a 9. Make some noise for that poet. And keep the noise going. The next poet on the stage, Dan!
Love you, Dad!
Thank you. This one's called Paul Jeffries. Paul Jeffries, you were always a little ahead of me. I was 7 and you were 9. You had to stay at your grandmother's house after school on weekdays because both of your parents worked. You led me down to the basement of your grandmother where she kept her masks. There was the green pig and the red witch who looked a little bit like your grandmother. But mostly there were all the masks that looked the same, with the slit eyes and the slit mouths and simple faces. I'd stare until you turned to go. I didn't want to be left alone with him. Paul Jeffries, you were the first to tell me the stories without any dissection or distinction, just the pleasure of telling. You first told me that we had winter because the goddess of summer's daughter was stolen by the god of the underworld. You told me of these little creatures with furry feet, of gods and warriors that dragged the sun across the sky in a chariot like a red wagon. You told me of an old man who dressed up like a knight and fought a windmill. And though I was told all their names later, they were never told to me with such honesty, and I've forgotten so many of them now. Paul Jeffries, you were the navigator through your grandfather's garden of tomatoes and roses. We were assigned to kill the Japanese water beetles because they ate the petals, so we drowned them in a glass jar when they made a little hill of themselves and died. Your grandfather always used to tell the same story about how during the Second World War he lived off maggots and salt. When the big kid next door would pick on us, you would pretend you were insane. Your arms would pull to your side like a velociraptor in Jurassic Park, and you would make crazy animal noises like, ah, ah, or, your eye almost would fly out like that ancient Irish warrior you told me about as you rolled around on the ground. I would stand to the side like a confused lion tamer until the big kid went away. Paul Jeffries, you were so fucking smart. You used words like diminutive in the Spanish lessons your grandmother gave us twice a week. When we went to the art museums, we would pretend we were bats disguised as humans, or alien explorers among the metal sculpture. We'd laugh at the nudes and the way they pretend the painters weren't watching them. When I asked why I got in trouble for drawing the girl with the enormous boobs in my second grade art class, you shrugged. But you knew so much. They sent you to that boarding school, the one with the suicide a couple of years ago. My mom told me you dropped out. Paul Jeffries, my freshman year I saw you once in the cafeteria. Your hair was long, blonde, and tangled with not caring. We nodded hellos. You seldom spoke to anyone. I was afraid you had forgotten me. You were too smart, I think. Disillusioned with compromise, with the hidden meanings behind words, with the words without any meaning and the meanings that can't be expressed in words. You were tired of a system that drowns the petals and saves the Japanese water beetles. You were weary of a world of faces that stares back at you like your grandmother's mask, some of them vicious, but most of them indifferent. Paul Jeffries, I knew you were pretending to be crazy then, but I didn't know why. Now I do. Paul Jeffries, you were always a little ahead of me. Thank you. That was Dan! Judges, write down your scores for that poem. I'm kind of tired of the slow Russian judges. 3, 2, 1, put your scores in the air! From low to high for Dan, we have got a 7.8, 8.7, a 9.2, a 9.5, and a 9.7 for Dan! How y'all doing? I'm having a good time. Y'all having a good time? Yeah! I don't believe you. Are y'all having a good time? Okay. We've got one poet left in the first round, then we're going to roll right into the second round with 4 poets.
we're almost heading into the ending here. So please give a warm welcome for the final poet of the first round. Her name is Blank.
Standardized words into standardized spaces inserted into cyborg robots on autopilot. Programming waves of sameness, this constant drive for production, machinic efficiency, technical proficiency, and I sit and wait and listen, and I try to pay attention. I know I should pay attention. Master Teacher Cyborg says I should pay attention, but I try to. I do. I wanna. I was gonna. I meant to. I mean to. But there was this rabbit with rainbow fur shining from the eyes and the ears, leading behind glass stars and tears and dreams. And I don't want to listen to you anymore. I don't want to pay attention to the words that you throw at me, to the problems that you pin on me, kneeling down now for forever. Your lineage assured through a classroom of clones. An arrow shot through time, stabbing through space and days, stabbing through me, and I am tired of the bleeding. I am tired of feeding the rushing red river, the flow, diverted and converted, hauled off in buckets to the garden of white roses. Paint those white roses, stain those white roses with prostituted blood, and I will not stand here, the silent and complicit, so I speak. Not my blood. I will not stand here as a target for your arrows. I will not be the one who stands here, so I follow the rainbowed rabbit instead, down the rabbit hole, through that dark, warm rabbit hole, and I go down through that little rabbit hole, past the roots of the trees, arborescent structures, recalling your speech. A meets with B, leads to C onto D, and I free fall. To the desert plains of Wonderland, the chasing desert dunes of another land, and I see the rainbowed rabbit race past his colors, and I watch him, follow him into a new way of being, of meeting, of seeing, greeting, encountering everything. And I see the smoke rings float from the caterpillar of another mind, in another mind, and I lose my mind, or at least let it wander. And I notice that your words don't reach me here. I see that your arrows don't pierce me here. No bloody wounds to feed your stream, but I fear you, Master Teacher Cyborg. Your words repeat. Cross your T's and dot your I's, mind your P's and Q's. Give yourself into the state and mind out what you'll do. But I know your voice. I've heard your voice, and I know it, and I know better than to slip on your oily lies. I will run on any slick surface you create. I will run so fast you cannot catch me. I will dance so hard you cannot grasp me, and I will speak so loud I cannot hear you, but you will hear me, and you will see my colors